Yo. Welcome. Welcome to the Onetre Fighter Weekly Pick'em. New series me and my guy Jordy got going on, man. This gonna be an every week thing. Do it every Wednesday night, and we're gonna give y'all our weekly pick'ems. But first, I'm gonna let my guy introduce himself, man. Go ahead, Jordy.
So I'm Jordy Fighter. I have 3 podcasts for the Eagles, Celtics, and Fighting Irish, and I share my depression in a lot of the moves we make. But over there, I do drop content on a somewhat regular basis, and thanks for having me on.
Yes, sir. Bro, football is here, man. I'm going to start off. We're going to get into this Eagles stuff a little bit, man, before we get into the main objective of the show, man. Going into week 1, we have a 1 o'clock game in Atlanta. How good do you feel about this game?
I've been up and down about this because both teams are very unpredictable. And, I mean, on one side, our offense is very unpredictable, but our defense is very somewhat known, especially along the D-line. And on the other side, the Falcons' offense is a big question mark, and they've got a somewhat solidified defense too. So it's kind of a back and forth.
I feel the same way, man. It's like it's week 1. You never know what to expect, man. You never know what to expect. But only thing I hope don't happen is this game turn into a shootout. If this game turn into a shootout, Matt Ryan could shoot it out with the best of them. So that's the scary part about it. So our defense going to have to come to play, man. It's like you can't let Matt Ryan get comfortable. You can't let him get comfortable, bro. I appreciate you, big play. You know, we doing big things over here, man. But yeah, you can't let Matt Ryan get comfortable because this dude is still, when he has time, he's still one of the elite quarterbacks in this league. I think a lot of people forget. Matt Ryan been putting up 4,000-ish yards since he came into the league. I mean, I know it's a little blow because he lost Julio Jones, but now it gives him more options to spread the ball around. Then bringing in a Kyle Pitts, dude is a mismatch nightmare. He's gonna eat across the middle. I mean, linebackers on him. He's too fast for linebackers, too big, too physical for safeties and slot corners. So it's gonna be a tough outing, man. The only way I can see us pulling away with this game is if our D-line come to play. They just make Matt Ryan uncomfortable, man. How you feel?
Yeah, I agree. And I put Stafford in the category of like a Derrick Carr or Kirk Cousins, where they're usually not going to give you like Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen kind of numbers. They're not going to pull your team to like the deep playoffs, but they're still very good quarterbacks and they're sneakily good and they're consistent. And that's all you need sometimes in a quarterback. And sometimes teams just say, we don't need the greatest quarterback. We can put a system around him. And that's kind of what Atlanta's tried to do for years. So yeah, it's going to be dangerous, but as long as the defensive line shows up and dominates in the trenches, that's our game to lose.
Thanks. I feel like it's more of I'm a little conflicted on it because if you let the run game of the Atlanta Falcons get going, Matt Ryan is going to torch you because now he can run off of play action. Matt Ryan is dangerous in the play action game. You brought up Kirk Cousins. I look at Matt Ryan more as a Jared Goff type quarterback. Jared Goff, if his run game is working, Jared Goff, you're going to have a long day facing Jared Goff. But if you force him to throw the ball 30, 40, 30 in that 30 range, I feel like he's going to make a mistake eventually. So, I mean, like they got to bring their big boy pants. And I feel like our run game got to dominate this week. We gotta kill some of that clock, man. And plus we got to get off the field on third downs. Last year we had trouble getting off the field on third downs. That was one of our biggest, weakest points. We could not get off the field. We could get you to a third and medium, third and long, but it seemed like we always was giving up the plays to get the first down. I mean, hopefully Jonathan Gannon had them boys ready to play because Matt Ryan is not no light outing for anybody. But man, it's just a wait and see now, man. I'm excited, bro. I'm super excited.
Yeah, and the one thing I will say about uh, Jim Schwartz and the old defense compared to Jonathan Gannon, the new defense, the old defense would always be quote unquote bend don't break, but they'd bend, they'd be great on first and second down, and then when third and fourth down shows up, they're non-existent. So with Gannon preaching turnovers and versatility, that shouldn't exactly be the case anymore. Hopefully.
You think that was more of predictability with the Jim Schwartz defense while we gave us so many third down plays? I mean, you gotta look at it. You got your DNs, your defensive tackles flying up the field. Now the little short dump offs, the end arounds, the quick hitters, all those are going to work because you're taking your defensive lineman out of the play basically. How you how assess that for me a little bit, bro? Because I couldn't really understand it. Like we were great on first and second down, but third down we struggled so badly. I don't understand.
Yeah, it was a mix of things. We'd always have one safety high and one in the box, no matter who it was, and that's a mistake because you got to have the right guy there to be in the box, and it wasn't usually the right combination. And it used to be Malcolm Jenkins before he left, and yes, that worked, but Malcolm Jenkins was a great safety. That's the only reason it worked.
Right.
And our linebacking core, as most Philly fans know, was not very good, not utilized very well, and corners were playing 10 feet off sticks defense. That's what killed us, because you could dip and dunk all day on those corners, and all it took was one missed tackle from Ronald Darby, who looked like a fish on the field, and you were gone.
It was off to the races after that, man. We didn't have a lot of corners that could really tackle, man. Devante Maddox missed a lot of tackles. Like you said, Ronald Darby missed a lot of tackles. Jalen Mills was kind of a sure tackler, but he just got beat a lot in coverage. It's like he could not keep up with NFL wide receivers from 25 to 25. He was great in the red zone, but I mean, they're kind of getting there because of you. You're struggling in midfield and all that. I mean, it was just puzzling to me, man. It really was puzzling to me. But how do you feel like this week one? How do you feel like they will deploy the running backs? Because to me, it looks like we have three of the same guys, the quick little shifty backs. Miles Sanders is the biggest out of all of them, but he doesn't run big. He runs more like a scat back. So we really don't have any power backs on the roster right now, unless they bring like a Jordan Howard up or something like that. But we really don't have those guys that can consistently give you those short yardage gains, always falling forward, and can get you the first down on them third and shorts and stuff like that. So how do you feel like these running backs will be deployed in this offense this week?
So originally, now I always thought it would be 5 backs, but we kept 7 linebackers for some reason. But
I understand it either.
how they're going to deploy them, I was originally hearing a lot of good things about like the scheming differential and hearing some stuff about 2-back sets. But now with 3 running backs, that's out the window to me. You can't do 2 back and then if you lose one running back, well, you're going to have an emergency guy on standby and nobody's going to be able to do it. So
Sure.
it sucks to lose out on those formations, but you're right. We don't have a power back. I would have loved to have Jordan Howard or Elijah Holyfield back as a power back. I was banking on Holyfield staying, but Miles, I see a lot of runs outside the tackles for him just because of how he is. I think he'll get an increased amount of carries this year. Kenny Gainwell's probably going to be your pass catcher somewhat, sharing it with Miles and maybe somewhat of your run blocker since not Jordan Howard, Jason Huntley and Kerryon Johnson, neither of them made the roster, and I thought they were the primary pass blockers. And who's our third back? His name's out of my mind
Boston
right now.
Scott.
Boston. So to me, he's got to take a step forward from being just a giant killer, but right now I can see him being the in between the tackles guy for now as somewhat of a substitute for the power back because he goes behind those O linemen, especially someone like a Mailata or a Dickerson, and he disappears because of how small
He
he
get
is.
lost. Yeah. He definitely get lost.
He reminds me of Mighty Mouse, except he's 205.
Yeah, you stronger than people think, man. Bird Gang, what's good, my guy? How you feel today, man? What's good? But yeah, man, I agree with you. We probably can use a Boston Scott in that situation, but I would have loved them keeping Jordan Howard on this roster because that's his game. It's like you bring a Jordan Howard in for those short yardage games, them goal line situations. He's probably gonna take a lot of. I mean, I felt like he could have took a lot of those touches on the goal line situations and stuff away from Miles Sanders. But it is what it is. We got to work with what we got. And how do you feel about Rodney Mccloud being back, man? He was one of the leaders of our secondary for a few years now, and I think him being back will help out a Kayvon Wallace or who else we got at safety? Is Kayvon Wallace. Yeah, in the Eps. Yeah, help out at Kayvon Wallace in the Eps. Even if he can't play the amount of snaps that he used to play, he still could be there to guide those guys, him and Harris. So I think it's a good thing having two veteran safeties that have been in this game for a while when you got two younger guys backing them up. How you feel about that?
Yeah, and I like having Rodney back, even if it's just from the sideline, because yes, he's not on the field, and he's one of the leaders of the defense, and that's going to hurt the defense a little bit. I still really just like having him here in general because he is a leader. He's one of those guys that if he says something, you're going to listen. He's going to know what's going on, and in the right set, one that's not at one safety high, where I think he was at. I think he was always the guy that was up high with a safety on the other side of him. He's gonna have one of his best years, I think, in years. And whether that be Harris, who I think is a good fit next to him, or it's Kayvon at times or Epps at times, I like our odds with our safeties. I think not a lot of people give that room credit for how good it can really be.
I agree, man. I agree. I feel like even when it was Rodney and Malcolm, man, we had a great tandem there because Malcolm gave you that Cam Chancellor type feel, and McLeod was that safety that just was always around the football. So it was like we had our own little version of the Legion of Boom, Cam Chancellor and Earl Thomas. We just didn't have the corners. You get me? We didn't have the corners. I felt like Rasul Douglas could have, if they would have worked with him, like really worked with him and not put him in those bad situations, he could have been a solid corner here. Even as not too much of Sidney Jones because of the injury things and all that. He had a lot of little nagging injuries that slowed his career down at first. But I feel like we could have had our version of that. And I feel like they should have. I feel like the best situation we had the best situation at linebacker right now because it's a mix of youth and some young veterans and a veteran. It's like, I mean, if those dudes could step up, or Davion Teller could step up, Sean Bradley could step up, they could push those guys. They're gonna push the guys over top of them because they coming for their spot. So now you have to play good. And Alex Singleton is going to be a solid linebacker for us, bro. He gives you everything. He can cover. He can play his zones. He come up. He plays the football well in the run game. He fits. He plays the fits well and everything. So I feel like we can have a solid defense, bro. If everybody just on the same page, and all you have to do is just do your job. Don't try to do the man next to you job. Do your job. A D line is going to eat. They've been doing it for years. It ain't going to change now. So I feel like our defense, if our defense playing like I think they could, we can dominate Atlanta this week. How you feel about that?
Yeah, if our defense shows up and comes to play, it should be an easy game because that's all you need to do to shut down Atlanta because their defense, well, yes, it's partially established. We're unpredictable on offense. So That goes a long way, especially in the beginning of the season.
Facts. All right, man. It's about that time then. Let's get into this weekly pick'em, man. I know we gonna disagree on a lot of these games, but I'm gonna hop right into it, man. I'm gonna let you go first, and we're gonna start off with the Dallas Cowboys versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the first game of the season. First game of the season is an 8:20 game. I mean, I know I'm gonna be watching. I know 9 times out of 10 you're gonna be watching. But give me your pick. Who wins this game and why?
Honestly, I'm gonna say Tampa easily because I mean they've got a good offense. It's run by Tom Brady, who he's like your backup game managers, but in a starting role, and he reminds me of like a Derrick Carr on steroids, so to speak, but better than that because he's a pure pocket passer. He's going to give you
Facts.
consistency, and you don't necessarily need to put the best guys around him, unlike you would somebody else that I kind of compare him to, because pocket passers are a dying breed, so there's not much to compare him to anymore. But he's made do with what he has. From Julian Edelman to Danny Amendola back in New England. Now that he's got a very good roster, what's stopping him? Because last year after that bye, they picked stuff up and then just took off and never looked back. Who's to say this year they don't have a rough couple games, even though this is against Dallas, and then take off? But all in all, I can't bank on Dak. I don't know where he is. I think he's going to be more cautious this year, leading to more overthinking, more doubting himself in the game in prime time, and that's going to cost you. And he's going to be more cautious, which is going to keep him in the pocket.
Facts.
And you can talk about how good his receivers are, but he's going to struggle. I just have a feeling, and his defense isn't that great either.
I agree, man. I'm a see. This is a little bit harder for me because you never know what dollars you're gonna get. It's like you'll get the dollars that lose to a team like the Texans that's 0-5, and then you'll get the dollars that show up and be the good team. So you never know what dollars you're gonna get. I mean, the guys on that defensive secondary is a year older. They got a little bit more experience. They basically was playing with all rookies last year. So, and like you said, sometimes Brady don't show up, man. It's like he's the GOAT, but sometimes it's like he struggles with teams like Dallas. He struggles with teams like Chicago. He struggles with teams like that. But I mean, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go with Tampa Bay, man, because I just can't bet against Tom Brady, man, especially against that Dallas defense, man. That's unknown. I'm gonna have to go Tampa, man. I'm gonna go Tampa 27-20. How about you?
I'm going to have to go with Tampa 38-17.
Sheesh. Damn, you got them getting cooked like that, Jordy.
Tampa's returning all 22 starters. I have a lot of confidence in their defense.
I can mess with it. All right, we're gonna jump ahead then. We're gonna go Jacksonville versus Houston, man. It's a 1 o'clock game. They playing at Houston. What's your feel about this game, man?
Now, this is a weird game for me because the Jaguars are rebuilding and the Texans are just recovering from the hangover of Bill O'Brien, who turned their roster into almost the Browns. So
Facts.
ultimately, I'm going to have to take the Texans because I don't know how Trevor Lawrence is going to look out of the gates. He just lost his right-hand man in Travis Etienne to a List Frank injury, which is something in the foot, and it affects your balance, and it's something that keeps you balanced, and I don't think Etienne's gonna necessarily be the same back he ever was because of it. And as of right now, without him, without his right hand man, that's gonna hurt Trevor Lawrence. and he's throwing to not the greatest weapons besides Chark. I mean, they brought in Tim Tebow at tight end. That tells you all you need to know. And they're a rebuilding team, so I don't have a lot of confidence in them. The Texans aren't much better. Deshaun Watson's not playing, but they've got a weapon here and there. They've got a nice running back room, and they've got Brandon Cooks, and their defense isn't that horrible.
I gotta go the other way, man. I'm gonna have to go Jacksonville. I'm gonna go Jacksonville because I feel like Jacksonville's, like you stated, Jacksonville's weapons are underrated. DJ Chark, Laviska Shenault, Marvin Jones Jr. I feel like that's a solid wide receiving core. It's not the best, it's not top 10, but that's a solid wide receiver core. And then they got Robinson out the backfield. He was 1,000-yard back last year. I feel like they're going to beat the Texans because who's on the Texans? It's like they're going to start Mark Ingram. I don't even know who their backup quarterback is. You have any idea?
It's Tyrod Taylor, who's launched
solid quarterback.
He's launched many quarterbacks' careers, like Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. So who knows?
Oh yeah, Tyrod Taylor is a solid quarterback, but I feel like the Texans just gonna be a dumpster fire this year, man. Even though the Jaguars aren't rebuilding, I feel like they take this one. I feel like they take this one 17-20. How about you?
I'm gonna have to say Texans 24-17. I think it's a one-score game.
I can rock with that. All right, well, this one right here is a hard one, man. So I'm gonna let you take this one. The Chargers versus the Washington football team. 1 p.m. game. How you feel about that one?
I'm gonna have to say the Chargers because this is a team I've been high on. They're my sleeper pick this year. And Herbert's just coming off a great rookie season. He's looking to take a step forward. He's throwing to Keenan Allen and Mike Williams, who I think is in a contract year. He's also got Austin Eckler and Justin Jackson out of his backfield and Jared Cook and Donald Parham Jr. at tight end. That's a very good offense.
It is. It's solid. That's a solid offense.
Their defense has got names like Chris Harris Jr., Derwin James Jr., and Joey Bosa. That's going to be hard to stop. So
then they still got Kenneth Murray too at linebacker.
Yeah, ultimately I'm going to have to give it to the Chargers.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go Chargers too. The only way I don't see the Chargers winning this game is if the football team defensive line takes over the game and dominates the Chargers offensive line because they still got Austin Eckler out of the backfield. He's an explosive back. He's not really too powerful, but if you get him in open space, he can make some plays. It's Mike Williams, Keenan Allen, like you said, Patton. They got a lot of weapons on their offense, man. They got a lot of weapons, and Herbert just be slinging the rock around, man. So I feel like Herbert, even if they get into a hole early, Herbert could dig you out of that hole because he's a gunslinger. I mean, he showed his rookie year that he wasn't afraid. He duded it out with one of the best teams in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, went down to the wire. So I got a lot of trust in Justin Herbert. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Chargers this one too. I'm gonna go to Chargers. Chargers 34, football team 20.
I'm gonna have to say Chargers 42, football team 21.
Sheesh. Man, you got everybody getting cooked this week, huh, Jordy?
I got Herbert having a field day, and you never know what you're gonna get from Fitz magic.
Thanks. I agree. All right, moving on then. This one kind of hard too. It's Seattle versus the Indianapolis Colts, a 1:00 game. How you feel about that game, Jordy?
That's a tough one, but I'm gonna have to take the Colts because Carson should be healthy week 1. Quentin Nelson should be healthy week 1. And ultimately, you've got Jonathan Taylor out of the backfield with Nehemiah Hines behind him and Marlon Mack. Wentz is throwing to Pittman Jr., Zach Pascal, Paris Campbell, and Mo Alley Cox and Jack Doyle at the tight end spots. So if Quentin Nelson and Wentz return, that's dangerous. And they've got a good defense, especially with Kwity Paye, who, as much as I hate to admit it, is a good pass rusher out of college already. He's already very good.
Pass rusher, man.
And when it comes down to it,
What?
I don't know if they can stop that defensive line. I don't.
Yeah, their defense period is just underrated. The Colts defense, with Darius Leonard anchoring the defense. So, but I'm gonna go the other way though. I'm gonna go Seattle just based off the fact Seattle gonna get good quarterback play. You don't know, you don't really know how Wentz gonna look in their first game. It's a wait and see with Carson I'm still a big Carson Wentz fan, but he disappointed us last year. It was like we saw a whole different person last year. So we gotta see how Wentz look coming out in the gates. And then he lost one of his weapons in T.Y. Hilton. So that's a big loss. T.Y. Hilton is really one of the only veteran wide receivers he has. So we're gonna see. If they lean, I feel like if they lean on the run game, if they really lean on the run game, I feel like they can win this game, or at least utilize their backs properly. Nyheim Hines, Jonathan Taylor. Use those dudes properly, and they play ball control defense. Ball control offense. I feel like they can win this game. But if you let Russell Wilson get hot, it's gonna be a long day for you. It's gonna be even for that Colts defense that I feel like is great. Russell Wilson can beat any defense when he's hot, and then he's throwing it to a DK playmaker. It's like this one's gonna be a good game. I feel like it's gonna be a low scoring game too. Depending on how Seattle's defense looks, because I know the Colts defense is gonna show up. So I feel like it's gonna be a low scoring game. It's gonna be 7.
I'm going to have to say 17-21 Colts. I think near the end, the Seahawks running game is going to be shut down, and that's what cost them the game.
I rock with that. I can rock with it. All right, moving on. We have the New York Jets and the Carolina. So 1:00 game is at Carolina. So, what's your thoughts on that game?
That's easy. I got the Panthers. The Jets are turning into the next Browns because they're going to be the bottom franchise in the league. That's how they're going to be. Zach Wilson's not going to do anything for them. He's a one-year wonder coming out of BYU. Whoop-de-doo. He's not going to do anything. He's throwing to nobody. He's got nobody in his backfield. He's got nobody blocking for him. At least Joe Burrow has somebody to throw to.
Exactly.
Zach Wilson doesn't. Joe Burrow's line's made of paper mache, but I'd rather be able to get the ball to somebody than get the ball to nobody.
Yeah, Joe Burrow 3 weapons he could throw to. It's crazy.
Yeah, and I don't think this Jets defense is going to be able to stop DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, CMC, and if they can get him in the game a little bit, Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard. Yeah, he's an underrated back, and I don't know how he's gonna look in the league, but I know in college he was a dog in college. But sure, that's all. I'm gonna go Carolina too. I feel like Carolina wins this one easy, man. I feel like Zach Wilson underperforms his first game in the NFL, and it's really not too much to say. I think Carolina dominates this game from start to finish. This one of them games you watch for like 2 quarters and then you just turn it on. Like I don't even feel like watching it no more. It's gonna be a stinker. But yeah, I got Carolina winning this game 34-10.
I got it being 31-7 Carolina.
All right. Minnesota versus the Bengals. 1 o'clock game at Cincinnati. How you feel about this one?
That's a tough one because Minnesota is a good team, but I mean, the Bengals have a decent team on both sides of the ball. Burrow's throwing to some good weapons now, and I think they're slightly unpredictable. But again, I think I'm gonna have to go with the Vikings just because that offensive line is going to be the downfall of Herbert until they give him somebody. And I mean, the Bengals defense, I'd give them probably mid tier in terms of the league, but you're not going to stop Justin Jefferson and Adam Thielen alongside each other and also be able to stop Dalvin Cook. You're not going to do it. Not that defense.
I agree, man. I'm gonna have to go Minnesota in this game. I feel like Minnesota is one of those early year teams that fades off later on in the latter parts of the year because they always come out hot. Every first 2, 3 games, Dalvin Cook goes off 150, 180, three touchdowns. And then it just fade off in the win later on in the season. So I feel like Minnesota dominates this game, man. Joe Burrow, I feel like Joe Burrow got to get back in football shape. Like, not football shape wise as working out and stuff like that, but he got to actually start getting some NFL hits again for him to get comfortable. And I feel like Minnesota jump on them early. I mean, Minnesota jumps on them early. Joe Burrow, I mean, he kind of turns it up at the end. You see why they drafted him and stuff like that, but it's not enough to get the win. So I gotta go. I gotta go Minnesota 27, Bengals 24.
I'm going to say Minnesota. Minnesota 31, Bengals 24.
Yep. So we on the same page basically. This kind of a hard one too, man. San Francisco versus Detroit in Detroit. How you
I'm going to have to say 49ers because they're returning a lot of their guys that were hurt last year. So there's going to be a dedication there. And I mean, no matter which quarterback they choose, and I think they're going to roll with Jimmy Garoppolo at least for the first half of the year. You've got Raheem Mostert and Trey Sermon as your running backs. You're throwing to Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and Mohamed Sanu Jr. That team's no joke, and that's not even thinking about George Kittle.
Facts.
So ultimately, I think the Niners walk out with it because the Lions for years have been one of those teams that's been between mediocre and basement level team.
I agree, man. I think the 49ers win this one. I feel like the 49ers win this one. The thing about the 49ers to me is this year is going to be filled with controversy for them, man, because all those 49ers fans are going to be screaming for Trey Lance. They're going to be screaming for Trey Lance as soon as Jimmy Garoppolo throw a bad pass or an interception or a fumble. They're going to be screaming for Trey Lance. But knowing the 49ers, they're going to stick with Garoppolo, paid him. I mean, let Trey Lance ride the pond for a while, get his feet wet a little bit at practice, like show what he could do at practice, but not really too much game experience his first year. Unless Jimmy Garoppolo gets injured, I don't see Trey Lance. We don't see Trey Lance this year. I feel like Jimmy G gonna crack under that pressure, but you don't really have to do too much to beat the Detroit Lions. So I feel like they take this one. But I feel like Jared Goff's going to have a solid game, but the 49ers defense is going to overwhelm the Lions. So I got to go Damn, that's hard. It's a hard score because you never know what you're gonna get out of the 49ers. They got a lot of weapons, but they win a lot of close games too. So I'm gonna have to go 49ers 24, Lions 17.
I'm going to say Niners 21, Lions 17.
Oh, so you got Detroit winning. All right. Damn, that was different. All right. Next up, Pittsburgh versus Buffalo. 1 o'clock game in Buffalo. How you feel about that game?
Buffalo, easily their game, because as much as I like that offense, we don't know what the receiver room's going to look like. James Washington wants out. We don't necessarily know what the rotation's going to be. I mean, I don't think now's the right time to put Chase Claypool as a number one. I think he needs more development time. And I'm
Right.
saying this because I don't want him screwed up like Golden Tate. But not only that, they haven't found consistency in their run game because their O-line was aging and it was James Conner who wasn't the best back in the league. And now that they've brought in somebody new, they've rebuilt their O-line, which right now they're rebuilding it. They're in the same spot as the Raiders, I'd say, where, yes, you've got a good piece here and there, but you're not what you were.
Right.
And I really like this Buffalo team. Josh Allen, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, already has a case for MVP potentially.
Right.
He's throwing to Dawson Knox, who I think a lot of people don't give him as much credit as he deserves. They've got Jacob Hollister as their backup tight end, an experienced guy who doesn't get necessarily the credit he deserves. Stephon Diggs, very good receiver. Alongside him is Emmanuel Sanders, who, yes, he's coming to near the end of his career, but I still think he's got another good season or two left in him. And then there's guys behind him like Isaiah McKenzie, Gabriel Davis, guys like that. So, as much as I don't like the running back room and how they do it, they're still a very good offense. They loaded up on defense with young guys where they needed them, and even though they hold on to some old guys too long, they've done better over the last offseason. So ultimately, I think this is Buffalo's game all day.
I gotta go with Pittsburgh, man. I'm gonna go with Pittsburgh just based off the fact that Pittsburgh, like you said, they're revamping their line. But they brought in a Najee Harris, man. You remember last year, Pittsburgh lost those last few games because they couldn't run the football. Connor was in and out of the lineup. They had smaller dudes who they couldn't really play Pittsburgh football. With them bringing in a Najee Harris, they have like a Le'Veon Bell 2.0. Najee Harris is one of those backs that can give you everything. And I think they lean on him this year, just like how Dallas leaned on Zeke. So it's hard, man. It's hard because like you said, I like the Buffalo. I like Buffalo. I'm a big Buffalo fan. I like Josh Allen just based on the fact that everybody in the league counted Josh Allen out when he first came in. Oh, he can't throw the ball. He just throws it hard. He doesn't have any accuracy. All he wants to do is run. Josh Allen has transformed into one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. So this one is real. It's hard. This one real hard for me, man. Like it's just I know what Pittsburgh is capable of. I know what Big Ben is capable of. But this Buffalo team is so up and coming. They're going to be one of the dominant teams in the league for like the next 3 years. So I'm gonna give Pittsburgh the edge in this one, though. I'm gonna give them. It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a semi shootout. I'm gonna give Pittsburgh 34-27. Pittsburgh 34, Buffalo 27.
I'm going to have to say Buffalo 38, Pittsburgh 21.
Sheesh. You think
I think Buffalo can shut down this dink and dunk offense because Big Ben can't throw more than 10 yards.
Hey man, that's why I love this weekly pick'em, man, because you get different ideas, but it's like I can understand your point. It's like Buffalo won a lot of games last year, just like basically just blowing people out. So I think, yeah, I agree with you, bro. I mean, I can see where you coming from, but I gotta give Pittsburgh that edge, man, because I know Pittsburgh is an explosive offense as well. So it's going to be a lot of fireworks in this game, but I feel like Pittsburgh has a great defense too. So does Buffalo. So scoring game, it can be a blowout or it could be a low scoring game, a dogfight. So it's hard, man. It's hard to tell, but I'm sticking to my guns, man. I'm going with Pittsburgh. All right, I'm gonna save our game. Well, we basically talked about our game. We just gonna go. We just gonna go over it again. Atlanta versus Philly in Atlanta. What's your thoughts?
Honestly, I think it's easily Philly. You really gotta exploit this Atlanta defense by just doing a little bit of everything. You got to spread the ball around. And I think this offense can do it because it's so unpredictable. And then on defense, you just got to be able to shut down Pitts and Ridley. Gage, yes, he's a threat, but he's not nearly as much of a threat as Ridley is, and Pitts can be. Because I say all the time, Pitts is like if Chase Claypool was a little bit bigger and a little bit more built as a tight end, and he had a wider catch radius. So I know the type, and I think he's going to have a great year. So, but I believe in the combination of Eric Wilson and Alex Singleton, who can cover tight ends somewhat efficiently.
Yeah, man. I feel like this game right here, Kyle Pitts is not really going to be a factor. I feel like later on in the year, Kyle Pitts is going to come into his groove. But early on, it's going to be hard to find a place to really play Kyle Pitts. You can't really play him in line much because he's not a good in line. You can split him out as receiver, but how much? What's the point of having him as a tight end if you're just gonna keep splitting him out as receiver all the time? You want to really get him on mismatches because Kyle Pitts as a wide receiver, he's a wide receiver. He's going to be going up against corners, so you want to have that mismatch. Kyle Pitts against a safety or a tight end, so you're going to have to play him in either in the slot area or in line. So I feel like that is going to take a little bit, maybe a week, 2 weeks to figure out where you really want Kyle Pitts to be at. So I feel like the bigger threat to us is Calvin Ridley. Because if he can get off on a Darius Slay or a Steven Nelson or even a Devante Maddox in the slot, we're gonna have a long day because Matt Ryan is gonna pick you apart. Then it opens up for a Kyle Pitts. Then it opens up for a Gage. Those kind of dudes that just they're matched up. They're gonna have to be one on ones. You don't want to play Kyle Pitts one on one. You want to bracket him because dude, like you said, he's fast. He has a big catch radius. He can dominate in that middle. So, like I said, we're gonna have to bring our lunch pail, man. That's all I can say. But I got Philly winning this game 21-7.
I'm going to have to say Philly 24-21.
I can respect it. Cleveland, Kansas City. It's a 425 game at Kansas City. Who you got winning this one, Jordy, and why?
As much as I love that Browns defense, although I can't stand Baker Mayfield as a quarterback, I'm taking Cleveland. Or not Cleveland, Kansas City, because you got to outshoot them. Not many teams can outshoot them in the first place, especially if Pat Mahomes coming off that. Oh, what was it? It was a foot injury. I can't remember exactly. I can't remember exactly what it was at this time, but it was something where it was worse than everyone gave it away to be, and he was wearing a boot, which he shouldn't have been. So it was something worse than originally thought. and he struggled a lot in the Super Bowl. So coming off that, I think that's going to slow him down a bit, but you're going to see the same old Pat Mahomes. And if him and Tyreek Hill get comfortable, that's game over. And as much as I love this Browns defense with guys like Newsome and Owusu Koromoa and all of them, I don't think coming out of the gates they're going to be that good because they remind me of Buffalo without as many of the veterans, where they're super young and unexperienced, but there's a lot of talent there.
Thanks.
And they just need the experience. So ultimately, I think it comes down to they just can't stop the Kansas City offense.
Joseph Bobby, thanks for tuning in, Joseph Bobby. You too. Hefe KC. What's up, my guy? Where you been at? You been in the woods, man. Been in the woods, man. What happened? Oh, it was a turf toe. All right. So Pat was out for a turf toe. My thoughts on the game. If Cleveland can play like ball control offense, run it with Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. That's the only way I can see Kansas City actually winning this. Cleveland actually winning this game. You like you said, you don't want to let Pat Mahomes get comfortable. That's the worst thing you can do. Even if you chasing Pat Mahomes off his spot, he still can hurt you. So, how do you really play this dude? Do you drop back in coverage? Because now you're giving them time to find Tyreek Hill down the field. Now you're giving them time to find Nicole Harmon, Travis Kelce across the middle. Dude is just like, he's a creative player for real, bro. It's like, how can you really stop Patrick Mahomes? What game plan can you bring? The only way I can see you stopping the Patrick Mahomes is if you actually getting pressure on him and bringing him to the ground, or you forcing him to make bad throws. So I feel like Cleveland has that kind of defense. Adding a Jadeveon Clowney with Myles Garrett. Their front is solid. They have solid linebackers. I feel like if they get the right amount of, they mix the right amount of coverage with pass rush, they can stay in this game. And then their offense Cleveland offense can be explosive. So I'm not gonna just count them out. Like, I can't just count them out. I think this is gonna be actually a good game. It's going to come down to the wire. Not down to the wire, but it's going to be closer than people think when you see Cleveland versus Kansas City. Because everybody expect that to be a blowout. So, it's a hard one, brother. I'm going to go Cleveland 27, Kansas City 37.
I'm going to say Cleveland 31, Kansas City 45.
Sheesh. Got them down there dropping the 50 ball on them. That's crazy.
I think it's going to be very high scoring.
I mean, yeah, like it could come to that, because you still got to remember Baker Mayfield has weapons other than his running back. Is Odell going to be healthy for this game?
Yeah, should be.
All right, so now, then you got Odell, you got Landry, you got Peoples-Jones, and they still got Njoku, right?
Yeah.
All right, yeah. I feel like they can match with Cleveland for the most part. I mean, if they could run the ball well, they can hurt Cleveland off play action. Hefe, you think it's 40-27? Everybody got them blowing Cleveland out. But yeah, I feel like if they could run the football well, that play action is going. And can over the years, Kansas City defense been up and down, so it's going to be kind of different because they got the Honey Badger back there. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be closer than people think. Moving on to the next game, Green Bay versus the New Orleans Saints, 425 game. How you feel about that, brother?
I'm going to have to take the Packers because realistically, I really like their offense, and this is their last hurrah with Aaron Rodgers. So they're going to go all out this season. They're going to try to go as far as they can, and it's going to start off against the Saints, who are without a Drew Brees, who just retired. And you can say what you want about Jameis Winston, but this is the same guy that got laser eye surgery because it would fix his bad play, because apparently his eyes were the reason that he threw 30 picks, not how he read defenses and all that. Beyond me, and I'm not even an analyst, and I can tell you that for free. And analysts don't even tell you that. But I mean, and if Jameis doesn't work out, Taysom's a glorified gadget player. He's not. He does everything but play quarterback.
Right.
I mean, when you ask him what position he plays, he probably just answers yes. And as much as I hate to say it, Ian Book's not in the right spot to succeed if something were to happen to Winston or he gets benched and Taysom's not the right guy, because that's not built for a scrambler.
Right.
And Michael Thomas, coming off multiple surgeries and something that hampered him all of last year, and hopefully he doesn't have a setback, but it's possible. I don't think they've got enough to overcome a Packers team hungry to go to another Super Bowl.
I agree, man. I gotta go with Green Bay in this game. Don't know what you're gonna get out of the Saints, being though Drew Brees is not there anymore. Me personally, I'm a Jameis Winston fan. So even that year he threw those 30 interceptions, he led the league in passing yardage that year, right? And touchdowns, I think.
He was up there.
Yeah, he was up there in the top 5-ish. I mean, in all them statistic categories, he just made a lot of boneheaded throws when they were up in games. Tampa Bay actually could have went to the playoffs that year. They were up big on a lot of teams. Jameis Winston, the game. So you never know. He rode the pine for like the last 2 years. So maybe he learned from his mistakes. Hopefully he learned from his mistakes, because like I said, I'm a Winston fan. I want to see him succeed. But I'm going with Green Bay in this one, just based off the fact it's Aaron Rodgers. Like, it's Aaron Rodgers. He's going to pick the Saints defense apart like he does every defense. Aaron Rodgers is a great seasoned quarterback. I mean, he plays well in the playoffs, but sometimes, it is what it is. But he's always been a great seasoned quarterback. He's just a great period. So I'm gonna go Green Bay 34, Saints 17.
I'm going to say Green Bay 38, Saints 20.
Yeah, shit. I can't disagree with you, man. I can't. It could be one of those games. I can agree with you. Denver versus New York in New York. How you feel about that game?
That's a tough one because both teams suck. And Denver, either you're playing Teddy Bridgewater or Drew Lock. Bridgewater, at this point, is a journeyman, and Drew Lock just kind of sucks. I throw him into kind of a category of a Sam Darnold, where unless you give him a bunch of like top 10 weapons, you're not going anywhere. And Denver does have a weapon here and there, but that's about it. Noah Fant.
Yeah, Noah Fant. I like Noah Fant.
And the Giants, as much as I hate to say it, I think they're going to win this game just based on you got a healthy Saquon for now. You've got a healthy Kenny Golladay for now. And at this point, all you got to do is spread the ball around and you're golden. And this Denver defense isn't that great. It's not what it was multiple years ago. So it's not going to be that hard to beat.
I'm gonna go opposite. Just based off the fact I feel like Denver's defense is gonna be a lot better this year because of return of Von Miller, the return of Bradley Chubb, getting the Patrick Surtain. What's Denver safety name? I can't remember his name right now. But he's good, man. I can't remember his name right now, but I know they got a good safety back there. I think they're gonna probably struggle in the linebacker play, but I feel like the pass rush can match that. I feel like if they get pressure on Daniel Jones, Giants lose this game. Daniel Jones is one of those quarterbacks that. How can I explain Daniel Jones, man? He shows flashes, but he's also not a clutch quarterback. He's one of those dudes in the clutch. He's guaranteed to give you a fumble or an interception. So, and Denver has an underrated offense. They have an underrated offense, man. Jerry Jeudy, Hamler, Sutton, Melvin Gordon. No offense, like you said, they have an underrated offense, man. If they could just if Drew Lock could just play half decent, they win this game. Because I feel like their defense is going to step up. They're going to be different than last year. Because Denver was a trash show last year. Like, I understand they had all the weapons in the world. It just was the quarterback play. Maybe Drew Lock takes a step up, knowing that he got a Teddy Bridgewater waiting in the wing. Or maybe they even start Teddy Bridgewater. You never know. And I feel like Teddy Bridgewater could get the job done against the New York Giants. So I'm gonna go Denver 27, New York 24. Denver wins by a field goal.
I'm gonna say New York 21, Denver 17.
I can respect it. Ooh, that's a hard one. Dolphins versus New England in Foxborough, man. How you got that one going down?
That is a tough one. And both teams are good. I mean, New England is just saying, hey, we got a lot of money. Here's a bunch of veterans for Bill Belichick. And we know how good Bill Belichick is with veterans.
Facts.
Because that's what Bill Belichick does. And on the other side, you've got a Miami team who they've had a lot of draft picks in recent years, and they've got some coming up. And ultimately, I think I'm going to have to give it to Miami based on the fact that they're very young, but there's a lot of talent. Jalen Waddle, Devante Parker. I mean, at tight end, you've got Gesicki. At running back, you've got Gaskin and Malcolm Brown. Tua's tossing the ball around with Jacoby Brissett as a backup just in case. And for some reason, they made Mac Hollins a captain, apparently. But they've got a good defense, too. And they've even got Eric Rowe, our old friend, who is a former New England Patriot and former Eagle. So, ultimately, I'm going to have to give it to the Dolphins, just a slight edge.
I agree. I'm going to have to give it to the Dolphins, too. I feel like them and Will Fuller is an underrated pickup. Will Fuller is that guy that can stretch the field for you. I don't know if he's healthy or not. I don't think he's healthy, is he?
He's suspended for a couple games.
Sheesh. Oh yeah. Well, that changes everything. With them losing, goddamn, what's the wide receiver they drafted name again?
Jalen Waddle.
Jalen Waddle. With them losing Jalen Waddle, that's gonna hurt him a lot, man, because he's that explosive wide receiver that you get the ball in his hands fast and he can take it the distance. Devante Parker is a big, physical, solid wide receiver. He has speed. I mean, he can beat you deep, but that's not really what he's really going to do. He's going to win a lot of contested passes and stuff like that. I like Gaskins, Malcolm Brown. I like those dudes coming out in the backfield. Only one I don't trust is Tua. I don't really trust Tua because he hasn't really showed me much in his amount of starts he had. Dude is like really turned into when he was at Alabama, he really wasn't no dink and dunk quarterback. I don't understand what's going on with Tua in Miami, because maybe it's the weapons thing. He didn't have a lot of weapons last year. So maybe it'd be a different quarterback this year. But I'm gonna still go with the Dolphins just based off the fact it's Mac Jones' first NFL start. I feel like he's gonna struggle in this game, and Miami has a solid defense. They have a solid defense. They had a solid defense last year with Xavier Howard and Byron Jones at the corner spot. I mean, I'm gonna give this one to the Dolphins. I'm gonna go Dolphins 27, Patriots 10.
I'm gonna say I gotta agree with you. Dolphins 27, Patriots 10.
We finally agreed on one of them. That's crazy. We had the last two jerks. We finally agreed on one of them. It's cool. Bears versus LA. Woo, that's a hard game too. And it's a Sunday night game. It's in LA. How you feel about this game, bro?
I'm kind of iffy on this one. I've jumped back and forth a lot during the last couple days, kind of. But this is very tough. I'm going to have to go with the Rams because you've got Stafford, who's coming out of the Detroit organization and wants to prove that he was very good, which I think he doesn't get enough credit for what he did over in Detroit because it takes a very good quarterback to just throw the ball around and basically make scrubs outside of guys like Calvin Johnson, who he's had at times,
Right.
and just be like, oh, I'm carrying you here, here, and here. And I think he's going to be even better in LA with a coach like Sean McVay. And he's throwing to Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson, though Deshaun, you're not going to get a full 16 games. He's throwing to Cooper Kupp, Tyler Higbee. He's got Darrell Henderson out of the backfield. So I'm very confident in this offense. And they've got a good defense, too. And they've got the best defensive tackle in the league in Aaron Donald. He's hard to stop just by himself.
Facts. Yeah. Bro. This is a hard game. That's two solid defenses going up against each other. I mean, not against each other, but I mean against the opposing offenses. So, I don't know. If Andy Dalton starts and finishes this game, I feel like LA wins this one easily. Even though the Bears have a few weapons like Anthony Miller, Allen Robinson, those I don't feel like they can match the LA's offense and defense. So one place in the Bears, I feel like the Bears offense is going to be lacking. LA could be a well-oiled machine, especially with Stafford back there. Then you got, like you said, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Deshaun Jackson, Van Jefferson. I mean, it was bad that they lost Cam Akers for the season, but they got Darrell Henderson. Maybe he can step in and fill that role. I feel like LA gonna be a solid team. They're gonna be a hard team to beat this year. Especially with the play calling of a Sean McVay. I mean, he has a Matthew Stafford that can throw it anywhere on the field off any platform. And like you said, Matthew Stafford he really doesn't get a lot of credit for what he did in Detroit, man. Even though they didn't make a lot of playoffs and stuff like that, Matthew Stafford has been putting up solid numbers since he came into the league. Like solid, like Hall of Fame type numbers. So I got LA in this game. I'm gonna go LA 34, Bears 17, and I feel like Justin Fields hits the field this game, week 1.
I'm going to have to agree on the score. LA 34, Bears 17. And I will say this. There's someone on the Bears that I'm waiting for to break out, and that's Cole Kmet at tight end. He's someone to really watch out for. He's underestimated, so we'll see.
I like Cole Kmet. Yeah, I think he's underestimated as well, man. He just got to show it now. All right, so last game, man, Monday night game. Baltimore versus Las Vegas in Las Vegas. This is going to be a great game, I feel like. How you feel about this one, bro?
Now, this game, Baltimore, I'd say, at first looks like the better team, and I got to give it to Baltimore. But I will say that this is going to be very difficult to pick from, and it's going to be very close because people underestimate how good this rebuilding O-line is
Right.
in Las Vegas. And Derrick Carr is one of those guys that's going to give you consistency. He's not going to pull you to playoffs and pull you deep into the deep runs, but he's still a good quarterback. He's very consistent. He's throwing to guys like Henry Ruggs and Darren Waller and Brian Edwards and Hunter Renfrow.
Right.
So they're not to be underestimated. And he's got Josh Jacobs and Kenyon Drake, who had a very good season in Arizona, and Peyton Barber as a third string. So they're not to be underestimated. And they just added to their defensive line, adding Ngakwe, adding Gerald McCoy. They added KJ Wright.
Yeah.
And they added Casey Hayward Jr. So they added a lot of starting guys to a weak secondary to make it kind of a mid-tier secondary. So I think they're not to be underestimated.
I think Vegas gonna. I think LA. Las Vegas gonna have a solid season, bro. It's like you said, they got the right mix of veterans and younger players, and they brought in some solid veterans. It ain't like they just brought in anybody off the street. A right at linebacker. Dude been a solid linebacker in this league. In that Seattle defense. I mean, playing next to Bobby Wagner, so I feel like he can be that leader that they need at linebacker if he can stay healthy. Derrick Carr, this is how I feel about Derrick Carr. I feel like Derrick Carr is a solid quarterback. Like, he's a solid dude. He has those years where he can go crazy, and then the next year he just So I don't know. It's hard, man. And stopping Lamar Jackson, that's a big task of his own, man. This dude is just electric with the football in his hands. Like, I know a lot of people don't like to call him a quarterback, or he's a running back, but it's just like when you see Lamar Jackson, he doesn't take a lot of big hits. For him to run that much, he doesn't take a lot of big hits. I mean, so, and then he can improvise and throw the football. Is Bateman playing this game?
He should be.
I feel like that's a plus, man. Bateman, Hollywood Brown, Mark Andrews. Oh, that's hard, man. It's hard to pick that one because you never know which Derrick Carr you're going to get. So it could be a shootout. I'm going to go with the shootout. LA 34, Ravens 37. Ravens win by a field goal in the clutch.
I'm going to say Vegas 21, Ravens 24. Clutch field goal, like you said, but I think it's a little more low scoring. And that's the one thing about Lamar Jackson is he's very cautious with his hits that he takes. And he takes after Pat Mahomes because they're very cautious with the hits they take, even though their running styles are different. And Lamar's a very good improviser. He doesn't have an arm like Vic or accuracy like some other quarterbacks in the league. I can't name one off the top of my head right now, but he's still a good improvising quarterback.
Facts. I agree, man. I ask you before we get out of here, I want to ask you 3 questions. First question. Which game do you feel will be the highest scoring game this week?
I think it's going to have to be the Chiefs game.
All right, Kansas City and Cleveland.
Yeah.
All right, which game do you feel like will be the lowest scoring game?
That's tough, but I want to say that'll be the Jets game.
The Jets game. I forgot. You think the Jets in Carolina will be the lowest scoring?
Yeah.
Just based off the Jets part, right?
Yeah.
I can dig it. And for my last question, which quarterback do you think will throw for the most yards this week?
I want to say Josh Allen, and that's because ultimately, when it comes down to it, I think he starts off strong like he always does because that's always a young and very fresh offense at first.
Right.
So I think they continue and pick up where they left off last year, and they start off really strong.
Yeah. We did. I think we ain't do Arizona and the Titans, right?
Oh, we missed that game.
Yeah, we missed that game. I was looking at that game like, damn, did we discuss this one? All right, let's just run through that real quick then. Okay. How you feel about Arizona and Tennessee? 1:00 game in Tennessee.
As much as I like Arizona, and I hate to say this, but I'm gonna have to take Tennessee. If you load the box to stop Derrick Henry, he can either go to the outside, which you still have a big chance of stopping him, but he's got his moments. And then they can just throw to AJ Brown and Julio Jones. And then it's like, well, if you take guys out of the box to stop them, well, then Derrick Henry's just going to kill you. So I don't know any defense that can stop it efficiently in this league. So I'm going to have to go with Tennessee.
Yeah, just pick your poison at that point, man. It's like, what you gonna do? You gonna try to stop Derrick Henry? You gonna load the box and stop Derrick Henry? Now you got Julio Jones and AJ Brown out there on the island with your corners. So that's gonna be a tough outing for anybody. Anybody play this year. If everybody can stay healthy, that's gonna be a tough outing, man. But I like Arizona's defense as well, though. Buda Baker. What's the linebacker they just drafted? Big dude. From Tulsa.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. And then they also have Isaiah Simmons.
They got Isaiah Simmons. They still got Jones, right? Chandler Jones.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think they dealt him away. I think they were in talks, but never did.
Arizona got a solid defense, man. But I don't feel like they're gonna have enough to stop Tennessee offense. So I'm gonna go Tennessee 27, Arizona 24.
I'm gonna say Tennessee 34, Arizona 24 because Tennessee every year their defense is usually sneakily good.
Always solid. Always solid, man. I don't know how Brave will be putting these defenses together, but it'd be a whole bunch of people you don't even know. And they just be dogs. I'm like, yeah. But
Yeah, you'll be watching the game going, who's that guy? Because he's doing good.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Mike Brable, he's a great coach, man. But yeah, I think that's it for this week, man. Like I said, we're gonna be doing this every week, man. This is just episode 1. If y'all loved it, liked it, come to our pages. Follow Jordy Fighter. Like and subscribe to his stuff. Onetreroc. Like and subscribe to my stuff, man. It's gonna be a movement we're gonna be doing. They gonna be coming on like can we get on the Onetre Fighter? No. This is for me and Jordy. So, I mean, if y'all like what y'all seeing today, like, comment, and subscribe to our pages, man. I'm gonna let Jordy tell y'all where y'all can find him at again, man. This my guy right here. Like, seriously, this my guy right here. He's an analyst. He don't look at himself as an analyst, but he's an analyst, man. And great football minds think alike. So, I mean, it's a power movement. But I'm gonna go ahead and let them know where they can find you at, Jordy.
You can find me at Jordy Fighter on YouTube, where I've got my 3 podcasts for the Celtics, Eagles, and Fighting Irish, where I share my depression in our moves and, well, hope that I'm right with this weekly pick'em, at least somewhat. But thanks for having me on again, and yes, great minds do think alike.
Yes, sir. Y'all heard my guy, man. We're going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. Once again, this the Onetre Fighter Pick'em, man. We're going to be doing this every Wednesday around this time. 10-ish, 10:30-ish, 9:30-ish. I mean, it's gonna pop up on y'all screens. Y'all just tune in. But we out of here, man. It's your boy Onetre. Peace.